inside out for exclusive, extensive analysis mu bibaddewo ebikulu ennyo mu wiiki eno
ife niwe yogera ku nife mugangamuka ku Baba TV.
Wachaliko Baba TV program Gangamuka. I was telling you we're very excited to introduce to you our new show Inside Out. Kusawa satu watugendo temera no kuba torch mu bibaddewo ebikulu ennyo mu wiiki eno. So tugenda mpaka sawa satu, then kusatu tukwase team empya eya programu eyo eya Inside Out. Nolwekyo sigalako kanyomero bakayita ife niwe oba oyogerezeganya naffe ku bintu ebyenjawulo. Era ekibuuzo twakitadde ku mukutu gwa Twitter ne Facebook nga tugamba nti General Muhoozi Kainerugaba eyali omuduumizi w'eggye lya Uganda ery'okuttaka ate nga kati muwabuzi wa President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni ate nga mutabani we General Muhoozi Kainerugaba eyalangiridde nti agenda kwesimbawo mu 2026 ku kifo ky'obukulembeze bw'eggwanga. Tubuuza ono singa aneesimbawo anaasobola Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu biri ku Twitter ne ku Facebook. I've had, of course, already some Ugandans abagamba nti they seem not to understand what explains what seems like impunity General Muhoozi Kainerugaba gy'akozesa ku mukutu gwe ogwa Twitter. Nti newankubadde tukimanyi bulungi nti bannamagye serving army officers mu mateeka tebakkirizibwa kwenyigira kwogera na kukola bintu byonna ebiri partisan ebyobufuzi ebiri partisan. For a very long time now, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba is making political statements which go actually unchallenged, maybe to some extent. Nalava Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces atenga ekitaawe General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni batuga nti General Muhoozi akomentinge ku bintu ebi ebintu ebirimu enkola ya Uganda amalala as a serving military officer atalina kubeera nga abikomentingako. General Muhoozi naga nti njagenda maaso nze nga mbikomentingako, and he has continued actually. Oyinza okulowooza nti at some point oba yali abyogera bwogezi, but he has continued and now he said agenda kuvuganya ku kifo ky'obukulembeze bw'eggwanga 2026. It's unclear where he derives the powers to speak the way he's speaking. Could it be because ye mutabani w'omukulembeze w'eggwanga? Could it be because taatawe ye commander-in-chief of the armed forces? And again, that also leaves other questions we are asking, or we have been asking. Nti ejje erina systems ezikola, ejje erina mateeka, CDF n'abalala, why are they mute? Why are they silent about what many commentators think it is violation of the UPDF Act? It's violation of the laws of the land for any serving military officer, a senior one in this case, to keep commenting on partisan politics, on our relations with other countries. But that aside, let's look into what is happening. General Muhoozi Kainerugaba yatandika n'okulaunching birthday parties, n'atambula wano na wali, n'atambula nga agenda mu bitundu by'eggwanga ebyenjawulo, n'akola kye yayita committee. Era bano ba MK Army team chairman, they vow every day that General Muhoozi will stand for the office of the president in 2026. They've branded him standby generator, but remember we are talking again about a serving military officer. Now, I don't know what Sir Simon Muyanga Lutaya thinks. Before we come to you kumitimbagano, kubanga namwe muri eyo, I've been following a number of comments you have shared with us. But as a senior journalist, I know this may be part of our discussion later on. akusawa sat just in 2 or 3 lines. Sir Simon, General Muhoozi, for I don't know which time, said this week that he wants and he will be on the ballot in 2026.
I think the handlers of General Muhoozi must be really intelligent people, because they have carefully studied our naivety and they are playing well with it. I do not think that those tweets just come by. I want to believe that they are well calculated. But I want to discuss that later in the day, because that brings me to what the FDC did yesterday. FDC, I think, is the first political party in the opposition, actually the first political party in Uganda, I think, in the recent times to have a leadership academy. The party president, Patrick Oboy Amriat, yesterday launched a leadership training academy at the party headquarters in Najanankumbi, where the intention is to train young leaders, you and I, into leadership, to help them at another stage to nurture their ambitions, to help them shape their ambitions, because long before, leaders were not just emerging from the blue. The senior citizens in our society identified leadership traits from us. And once they discover that you have capacity to be a good leader, they would take on the duty of nurturing, mentoring, and preparing you. So if you look at our country and you analyze the leaders between the ages of 30 and 40, in this case I would give you between 30 and 40, you have leaders like, okay, His Excellency Bobi Wine.
Honorable Robert Chagulanyi
is there. And then the leaders between the age of 40, I'm just selecting one person in each age group. I want you to write them down and compare and answer what I'm going to tell you. So in the age of 30 to 40, we have selected Chagulanyi, because I think His Excellency Bobi Wine is around 35?
No. I think he is about
37.
Not really, because twagenda mu kalulu ka January 21 nga agamba ali 38, and the likes of Balema Birizi nga balowooza nti ali 40. So I think it's about 30, I think making 40 now.
Okay, it's between the age of 30 to 40.
Yes.
Then between the age of 40 and 50, you have the likes of Muhoozi Kainerugaba. I've selected Muhoozi for that matter. And then between the age of 50 and 60, you have leaders like Elias Lukwago. And then between the age of 60 and 60 and 70, you have leaders like Dr. Kiza Besigye. I'm trying to select one. And then between 70 and 80, you have leaders like Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. And then between 80 going forward, you have the likes of, I think, Moses Ali and the others. Now, if you looked at each of the leaders I have mentioned, and you start analyzing them from as simple things as their dress code, you'll see a very big difference. The way these people dress. Just pick each of the persons I've mentioned and look at how they normally dress. Now you identify them. Look at how they talk when they're in public business. Look at how they analyze public issues. Look at how they relate with other politicians. Look at how they speak about their country. You'll tell that the young leaders of 30 to 40 and 40 to 50, behave differently from those of 50 to
How
60
different?
and 60. Okay, I'll just give one example. The level of trust, and then the comradeship between those of 30 to 40, 40 to 50, and then those of 50 to 60 and 60 to 70 going forward. The level of trust among them is really lower in the lower category and higher in the upper category. You can find there could be one person, say General Tafire, who has been Mr. Museveni's friend for all of these years, and they have trusted each other in the both good and bad times. When Otafire lost the elections in the 10th parliament, rumor was that the state had worked against him. But you not hear him come out to vomit venom.
Spit venom.
Understand?
He didn't.
He did not.
He did not.
He waited for the time. Today he's back in
Cabinet and, parliament.
Now look at how Otafire and Muhoozi relate, and Museveni relate, and then compare how the likes of Betty Namboze and then Elias Lukwago and Honorable Medal Segona relate with Norbert Mao. You understand? Otafire knows that Museveni is the party leader of NRM.
Yes.
And they have lived together. Not because he agrees with whatever they do there, but he has kept there. Now, the likes of our people of 40 to 50, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, when they disagreed with Mao's style, you know that they went away.
Yes.
You understand? So that gives you something. I wanted you to use that to look at the scale of trust.
Name calling.
You understand?
Yes.
You understand?
Now,
if the
you'll never
papers
find that in that older age.
You understand? That one would call another that you are a pumpkin, yellow inside, green outside. Then the other also sends and says,
Watermelon.
you are also a watermelon.
Red inside?
Red inside, green outside. You have not had such fun exchanges
with the older
in the
group.
People who are in the likes of Wande or Gallo. I'm now giving you an Dr. Frank Nabuiso, the likes of Amama Mbabazis, the likes of Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the Otafires. Because the level of trust is
Just
there.
look at people like the late Kategaya. For some time,
So,
very good. And they work.
Why? That there is some level of trust that you'll always trust that even when Miyanga speaks negative about me, he actually means well for me. That's what I'm trying to show in the other age group. Then the comradeship that I am told, and I have reason to believe, I was told by the late Chive Jinja, that Chive Jinja's children used to spend holidays at the home of Honorable Jaberi Bidandi Sali and at the home of Oechitiwa Chintu Musoke. So that their children relate freely among their families. Then look at our children. I fear to send my 22-year-old girl to your home even for a month.
A 22-year-old girl?
Yes, I fear.
Why?
I'm looking at the way we have degenerated. That
you
instead
have that,
of viewing her as your daughter, because you're my brother,
yes.
I am told the stories that Daddy, Uncle said. Daddy, I have a story to tell. Daddy, I have something to say. Daddy, Uncle, and you can't even pronounce the word. Those things are very common among our groups, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, than they are in the groups of 50, 60, 67 and above.
I agree.
That's why it is told also that Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was raised in Byanyima's home. You have heard of that story. I also have reason to believe because when the late Boniface Byanyima passed away, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni accorded Byanyima a state burial that he never accorded John Inagenda, even when Boniface Byanyima had been opposition all through. I thought he was doing that in respect of how this family raised him. How many of us, you and I, are raising children who are not ours. And you raise them to that high, and you wish them that well. You understand? Because it is actually Byanyima who first told us the right name of Mr. Museveni. He says Tibuhaburwa. He says, I grew up with him, I raised him, Tawuliriza, Tawabulwa, Tibuhaburwa. We thought it was name calling, maybe Kumu, Italinya, like. Today the man says he's Tibuhaburwa by affidavit. So what am I trying to say? What FDC is doing is what has been missing. Raising leaders deliberately. Helping to cut off wings from leaders. Because when you become, I remember the time, His Excellency Bobi Wine has missed the mentoring, the political mentorship
of
that, because the net is not on. That Elias Lukwago received from Paulo Semwogerere. Because when Elias Lukwago was coming to the public forum for us to know him through the cases that he took to court as a lawyer, the referendum, it was the referendum issues and the others. Those cases, the opposition cases he handled. It is those opposition cases he handled, court cases, that introduced Lukwago to us. And you would see that these leaders deliberately wanted Lukwago to become what he is. He
was mentored into what he is.
They mentored him into that. So, his dress code, he has maintained the dress code of those who nurtured him. You always find him smart in a suit. Look at the other young leaders we have around. Look at all of them. Look at them around. Critically, and look at them and see how they dress. Leaders like Mathias Mpuuga, OHT Wameda Rubega Segona, who were raised and mentored by OHT Wamruanyamuli Semwogerere.
They've maintained that as well.
You understand?
Yes.
Look at them.
You said difference, a very big difference.
And then look at those who have sprung up on their own and came to our public forum. Therefore, I congratulate FDC upon this milestone that they have raised. They are the first people to have a leadership academy to mentor leaders. And this brings me now to what you're saying about General Muhoozi. We want to find out who has mentored General Muhoozi.
Who has mentored him?
Yes. Who are his mentors? Who are his father? Is that what he says? Okay, if it is his father, I want to agree. Do you see, when you see Muhoozi left alone, if you found him alone and you did not know that Museveni is his father, would you see Museveni in him? Muhoozi?
Not at all.
Does he portray the father?
Not at all.
So these are the things that I thought about when the FDC said, I think there were even pictures. There is even a story to know that the person in control room is an FDC hater. But you'd see.
No, he doesn't hate FDC. Maybe you might be, but he doesn't.
I don't know. So you'd see that the deliberate effort, the reason some of us behave the way we behave, and sometimes people misunderstand us and even insult us, is because there are things we cannot do even when the world sends us to our lowest.
You maintain your beliefs.
You understand? Because the world beats. The world can discipline you and take you to your lowest. That's when many people lose their humanness and behave funny. Some of us are taught that even when you insult me to the lowest.
Okay, as we get to the question, a very quick one. Who mentored these two people? Who mentored Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu?
I'm trying to find out who his mentors are. But I want to believe that in Kyagulanyi there is a lot of Nyanzi.
Nyanzi,
his
the brother?
There is a lot of Nyanzi, his brother.
And who mentored Nyanzi?
Maybe their father. OHT the late Ssentamu. You also see, the first time I knew Kyagulanyi coming to the fore, I thought he was a friend of soldiers. General Katumba Wamala and General Salim Saleh. When he was coming up actually to start a blossoming career, those are the people we knew that he was a friend of those. and you see would seeing those social things. So I want to believe that, no, I have to be honest, I don't know who his true mentors are. I don't know who mentored
So you
him.
don't know who mentored Honorable Kyagulanyi?
No, I don't
You
know.
can't tell
I
who
can't
mentored Honorable brother General Muhoozi Keneruga?
I can't tell, because I don't think Mr. Museveni had the time to mentor Muhoozi. Because when you read the book, his book, The Mustard Seed,
Sowing the Mustard Seed.
Sowing the Mustard Seed, he tends to say that he left the duty of raising children too much to
The mom.
I have to ask that if you see Janet Museveni and you see Muhoozi and compare the two, do you see any Janet mentorship in General Muhoozi?
Do you want to answer that?
I don't want to answer. It is the public to answer.
Okay. Now, because you want the public to answer, let's ask, let's see what the public is saying about these two people whose mentors you don't know. What are people saying? Look here.
Tweyanziza Nyusa Simon Miyango Taya, though I'm Mr. Kuangara Muganda, but let me prove you long. Thank you, Adam. Atulaba ku Baba TV. Okwaniriza okuba temunange ekibuzo ekyo nakulwaliro tujja kuba nga tubona byemutesiza okwongera okubyongereza ku bannaffe bye bateesiza nga tubona nti ekibuzo kiri nti General Muhoozi yalangiridde okwesimbawo ku bwa pulezidenti ono anaasobola Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu ono nga ye president w'ekibiina kya National Unity Platform abasinga gumanyi nga Bobi Wine. Ekibuuzo bino bye mwatuzeemu mujja kunsonyiwa ebimu sijja kubyogera olw'okuba nti olulimi lwe mwakozesezza si lulungi ate era nongera okubategeeza nti bino biduubo byammwe abanaffe abali tubona bali ku mitimbagano not Baba TV ate byaffe abaweereza ono ona amenage akobye era nga yali naye bweriri ero tudda kuba nti tubitako datusoniwa mwene lineryo mwene comment eyo jime aliko batya akuba nti totubuuza kodingo litunonya ku lugambo ow'amagye taikirizibwa kuvuganya ku bwa pulezidenti ate ye Isaac Mirundi Luwendo Whisky akuba nti tewali kudda mu kalulu. His father was beaten hands down unless it's a rerun. Oyo ati obwakobye asi mweneri alitukuba atya. For your information, MK is our next president mu bitibwa teye Edi Mugerwa akuba atya ani gwemwa banange Western Prince alikuba atya ani agambye nti presidenti yesimbawo n'oyo mutamiivu ebidubo byammwe abali kutubonako abali ku mitimbagano ate Richard Kayemisi baba kuba kone ekitaawe kati bwanajja yeka kinaaba kitya Jirum Faruku ate Faruku okozesa olulimi olulungi Musa Ngobye alitukuba atya the question should be on alcohol or andika cocaine what is most consumed. Ibrahim
Is that
ate ono Ibrahim Nsubga atukuba lwaki temukyaziza ne mumubuuza. Okay, General Muhoozi twamuyita naye ndowooza oba katanaba bufuna maybe bw'anaaba bufunya ajja kutuddamu asobola okujjako mu program ya Gangamuka. Kabonesa Prosa agamba atya imagine such a question this ceremony gwe tomanyi nti waliwo kwabo asalawo era nekiba ku lulwo lowooza yaani nze mvuddeko oyo bw'ateesiza. Jerira Rama Muhoozi alina emmundu yejja okumuwa akalulu. Okay, ate yesse nono Martini alikoba atya call them and ask them. Okay, tujja bayitala kuba nabo si bangu bakufuniko batya ndowooza ba TV bagitya. NUP is mwine katasi akuba NUP is nothing. Wano oluyombo ndulaba bamwanukudde. I think you need to go for medical check-up for your teeth. Isi mu bubi kati tetubalinda kutulwisa nange notalo. twababuziza kibuuzo twagala ate muyombere ku mukutu guno. Ano namudamula naye namugamba it's not a kingdom. Ate ye mwina agamba yes, understand, but he is the only candidate with all the credentials. Dr. Besigye would have been the best candidate, but you blackmailed him and replaced him with a comedian. It has John Sentamu na jana mwanukula because you are banage bimo binemo soma olulimi mukozeseza lukambwe. Teye Michael Danton agamba atia, what do you mean by a comedian? Mose has credentials, right? But he is not a leader. He is a ruler, and a comedian is a leader and not a ruler. That's why you smear him face ate wetweyongerayo wano bane bali tukuba ate mwina kuba NUP is please, but you know NUP mwine katasi era mwanukude just opportunities. They have millions of miles to reach state house gates. Kyagulanyi Sentamu, with a due respect, is only fit to be a ngule singer. He doesn't know how to get it. Banange Talik Rio Simba agamba atya agenda kuba bonna tata n'omwana bajja kiwulira. Emma Mayero yagamba am team Bobi Wine forever. Matovu Alon kati nzata bettinga nakugamba ani munnange. Semakula Chazo agamba nawe ekituufu okimanyi munda mutima gwo. Okay, ate ye Prince wabula tujogeddwa. Lutwama Isaac tata we yalemwa yanaasobola teyeswaza oyo Lutwama Isaac. Ate Vodafone World Michael olaba twawangula tata kati omwana. Mitina binti sebo tetuddamu kulonda genda mu mpaka z'abatamiivu. Banange ate ye Mugagga Ivan agamba kitoko. Isaac banange
Lukia Poza olukamu Lukia Subo olukamu with more
information. By the way, Honorable Muhammad Nsereko agambye ali ku Baba TV alaba. Akutumidde Simon Miyanga Lutaya
is my friend.
Ne Lukia Poza agambye agoberera.
Yes, now Nsereko, you have brought a very good example. Now Nsereko is one of those well-mentored people.
Yeah, that
now when you see Muhammad Nsereko and his father, you know his father,
yes,
veteran journalist.
I do.
Bwensanga Nsereko yekka sibuuzo oli Abdul Nsereko abatannangamba enyambala obwa sumaati, careful language, amagezi biki nendaba. So
that's why you're saying FDC is moving in that direction.
I don't even need
banaye onalebo Nsereko abadde wano mwife niwe lwaki temundeka ne maliriza
katunyo ku mazzi tujje tutandikirawo.
Ife niwe yogera ku nife mugangamuka ku Baba TV. Enoni Baba TV obusoga